Welcome everyone to Well That's Horrific, a podcast about anything and everything horror. I am your co-host, Mr. S.
And I'm Tom Cruz.
And this is episode 12?
Yes, I think so.
12? No, it's 12. This is 12.
I think this is 12. I think this is 12.
Yeah. Excited to be here. Excited to chat about the people under the stairs. Tommy and I have been doing our hard trivia, and this question popped up, and I think you had mentioned it that you wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
And I was on board. And it's also Wes Craven. Everybody knows Wes Craven, horror legend, rest in peace, Scream, Freddy Krueger, Last House on the Left, Hills Have Eyes, it just goes on. But to be fair, I didn't know about the people under the stairs. But upon seeing this movie again, watching this movie again, I did realize that I did actually watch it as a kid, but I just forgot about it.
I feel like that happens a lot.
It's been happening a lot more as we get older.
Yeah, we tend to forget these type of movies, really. Not to say that it's a bad movie. It's just one of those things. Like, I think I saw Amityville Horror as a child, and I didn't realize what it was until much later. And I was like, oh, wait, I've seen this after I was, like, rewatching it. And not that it's a bad movie. It's just, like, it's been a while, and it was, like, the original Amityville Horror.
Right.
This movie, my first time hearing it was actually through a mutual acquaintance, Megan.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Megan said this was her favorite movie.
Favorite movie? No way.
Favorite horror movie.
It's probably how much you could tolerate.
Yeah, no. So here's the thing: is those who know me, of course, know that I love horror, and I love asking people, "What's your favorite horror movie?"
It's your favorite scary movie.
I asked somebody, and somebody that we know said The People Under the Stairs, and then it came to my attention again when we were doing horror trivia, and we couldn't answer the question. Very interesting movie to start. But do you want to do hard trivia?
Oh, you want to start with that?
We can.
Okay, sure. Not a problem. I think this is my time to ask questions, no?
I don't know.
Yeah, you asked me last week. Yeah, get out of here.
Did I ask you last week?
Yeah, you did.
You sure?
Get out of here, boy. It's mine. It's my turn.
Guys, I don't remember, so...
What do you mean? You asked me about Friday the 13th. You asked me about...
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Whatever. Honestly, we can just do both. We can ask each other one question at a time. I don't care.
We got two Jason questions back to back. That's why I remember.
All right, I'm just going to shuffle.
It's all right. You could do it. I'm done.
I really don't care, bro. First question that pops up. What is this? Christian Bale played Patrick Bateman, the homicidal main character.
Psycho.
Yeah, I know. It literally... Wait. I didn't finish the question. The homicidal main character in the 2000 film American Psycho, based on the book by which American author?
Ooh, I don't remember who wrote this.
Yeah,
I know who wrote this. I do, because I wanted to read the book, but I don't remember his name. Just go ahead and tell me.
Bret Easton Ellis.
Yeah, doesn't ring a bell to me, but I know I wanted to read the book really bad when I first saw the movie.
What state does the film and comic book miniseries 30 Days of Night take place?
I should know this. I like that movie, but I do not remember.
It's Alaska.
Alaska, yes. I know somewhere cold.
Okay, these questions are kind of difficult.
No, I mean, I like that. I like that it's not just like, what's the title of the movie?
No, yeah, I do. And it does, believe it or not, when we get these questions wrong, I'm actually kind of happy. Like, look what it makes us do. We watch the film. So, all right. Ready for this one?
Sure.
What 1990 movie involving a series of short horror films features performances by Steve Buscemi, Julianne Moore, and Christian Slater?
Steve Buscemi, and you said it's what is it?
It's a miniseries. Involving a series of short horror films.
Don't know.
Tales from the Dark Side, the movie.
Missed it.
Now, these are difficult questions. I'm going to give you.
I'm striking out today. That's strike one. That's strike two. That's strike three.
Who is considered to be Hollywood's first scream queen?
Jamie
you know
Curtis?
this, huh?
I want to say Jamie Lee Curtis, or if not, her mom.
No, it's Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, I mean her mom played in Psycho, but she's definitely the scream queen. How was Jason Voorhees brought back to life in Friday the 13th Part 5? Jason Lives. Dumbass.
No, yeah, that's a wrong. So we found an error in the card because that's Part 6.
Part 6.
Yes, it says Part 5.
Part 6 with the V and the one in front. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Yeah, I was gonna say because Part 5. Spoiler alert for those who haven't seen it. Jason is not the killer in that movie.
Yeah, it's that guy that tries to frame him.
Yeah, so Part 6, he gets stabbed by a pole and a lightning rod hits that pole.
That's when like, I mean,
That's actually
not
probably
that,
the
not
best movie in the franchise.
not that, but like that. I love Friday the 13th. I love the franchise, but
It's my favorite one out of them all, though. Jason Lives.
nah, no.
Really?
Yeah, because they changed.
We might have to go back. We haven't done a ranking of this series. We might have to go back and rank.
Yeah, I'm
Friday the
down.
13th.
I'm down for it. I don't like him coming back. I don't like that they changed the actor for
But I like that actor of. I just don't like the one from Part 5.
and then that's not the one with the telekinesis kid, right? It's not the same episode.
No. That's.
I mean,
7.
same. That's 7, right?
Yep.
Well, whatever. We'll watch it again.
Yeah, I'm down.
I'm gonna ask you a little bit more subtle questions.
Which,
What happens above Tina's
hold
bed?
up. Let me
Wait.
stop you. So, May 13th is a Friday. We are almost 1 month away from the next Friday the 13th.
Oh wow! So you want to do it then?
We can.
Let's see what our plans are. Let's see what direction we're moving into. Let's see what's happening, and then we'll officially announce that. But I like that idea. I like it. What hangs above Tina's bed in A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Crucifix?
Yes, it does. Into the 2006 film Silent Hill, what sound signals the transformation of the town? Wait, what sound signals the transformation of the town into a nightmarish dimension?
Don't I remember this? This is the original, right? Oof, I don't remember. I haven't seen this movie in a long time. What is it? What's the answer?
An air raid siren.
Oh, it's Siren. Okay, that makes sense.
You want one more?
Yep, one more. One more, so that I can fail miserably and we can continue.
No, fine. See, but these are questions that are like we've answered and they're kind of weird and easy. Some are too easy. I don't want to ask. No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in a sequel. Name that movie.
Really?
Yeah. Oh, come on. You know this.
It's Stab.
No, it's not.
What are you talking about? Of course I know this.
What's the movie?
Scream.
Okay, who says it?
Wait, is this a scary movie?
No, this is Scream.
No.
You're right, but who says this? No, please don't kill me, Mr. Ghostface. I want to be in the sequel. I'll give you a hint. It's the garage scene.
Yeah. It's the sisters, two sisters.
Yeah, Tatum. Dewey's sister.
Dewey's sister. Yeah.
All right, that wraps that up. Now, it's a good way to end that since, Wes Craven was involved with Scream. And Now the People Under the Stairs, starring Brandon Quinton Adams. If you guys don't know him, he's probably much like my childhood. I've seen him in The Sandlot. I've seen him on Fresh Prince. I've seen him. Huh?
He's done a lot of things that I remember.
Yeah. He's been on commercials. He's a well-known, actor. And I think for this movie also, I think he did a pretty good job,
Given the circumstances.
Given the circumstances. Yeah. He was 12 years old at the time, so, So yeah, this movie, let's read you the synopsis. 2 adults and a juvenile break into a house occupied by a brother and a sister and their stolen children. There they must fight for their lives.
That's kind of a spoiler, right? You don't
That's
really
a major spoiler, actually. Yeah. Why would they do that?
That's not the synthesis. That's the spoiler.
What the heck?
But yes, that's revealed later on. They call each other mommy and daddy.
It's sick.
Weird. Yeah.
It's sick.
And then the big thing. So it's one of those things where I actually enjoy the beginning of this movie, like the idea of them like breaking in. He's like, "Oh, you don't have the courage," or basically keeps on toying with him.
Right. I mean, listen. So basically, there is a family in the ghetto, in the Los Angeles ghetto, who are being evicted because they haven't paid their rent, and it's a family of 4, a mom who's sick, laying in bed, boy, his older sister, and his younger sister, and essentially they're being evicted, and his sister's friend, the main protagonist, his name is Pondexter, but they call him Fool. His nickname is Fool, like April Fool's, like a fool. And his sister's friend is like, "Yo, listen, we can get some money if we, rob some place." And it turns out they robbed a liquor store, and he found out that the owners of that liquor store are actually the same people who are evicting this family, and obviously, they're trying to evict him because gentrification. They're trying to knock
Yep.
down the building and try to build something else and all that stuff. So the kid, is like, yo, listen, let's do this. Let's rob this place. I need money. My mom is sick. I think she had cancer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
And they try to rob their house. That's what I'm gonna
Yeah.
stop.
Yeah, that's where it kind of begins.
Yeah.
And like the first shot of this movie is the sister reading tarot cards. And she pulls a couple cards. She pulls the devil card. She pulls the fool card, and she's like, "This is how you got your nickname." The kid doesn't want to do it, but he kind of has no choice. And then they break in, and first, what else? So first, before they even break in, he tries to get the little boy to do it by himself, or to kind of see how far he can get, posing as, selling cookies. That doesn't work. And then they send in the friend. I don't remember what the friend's name is, but they're looking for him for like
Spencer. Well, he kind of just no, he forces himself in because he's like, I'm not gonna wait. Like, I want to see like what's inside, where this, because they know there's a coin collection somewhere in the house.
Correct. So Spencer goes in, but then he goes missing,
Right.
and that's when they go in under the premise of like, we're looking for Spencer, but at the same time, he's looking for the gold coins.
Which, I'm gonna stop you right there. I just want to say that's one thing I did appreciate about this movie, is that a lot of things happen fast. There's not I didn't given the movie that it is, there wasn't a lot of drag. It wasn't a lot of dialogue drag. It was just like a lot of things were happening continuously, which was great.
I agree, to a certain degree, because I think like it's at the end it kind of drags a little bit when he leaves and then comes back. I'm just like, really? It's like, okay,
I see.
there's just one part really, but like the beginning, you're right, like everything is pretty fast. I actually like that. I like that they she's feeding something in the walls and you don't know what it is. Also, again, I've never seen this movie, so I immediately think that the people in the walls are bad. And I'm like, okay, this is gonna be creepy. This is kind of sort of like Last House on the Left or something, or like Don't Breathe. Obviously, Don't Breathe probably got it from this, but I'm watching this and I'm like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. I guess let's see what happens. You don't really know where it's going because you already know that they're like people who live there are already evil. So are the things in the wall evil themselves? But then, the first time you see them, correct me if I'm wrong, they killed Spencer.
No, so that is how they make it seem. I thought that because there are people in the basement, I guess this guy like the mommy and daddy, the brother and sister, who we find out that are later brother and sister, I guess like they feed them human parts. After,
yeah, they do.
People. But I think, to me, what happened was I got the impression that she killed him and then just tossed him in the cellar. No?
Who's she?
The mom. The woman of the house.
Yeah, I guess, but we don't really see that. That's my only thing.
Yeah,
like,
we don't.
I don't know if
we
he was
don't,
just.
yeah.
I don't know if he was just looking and then bumped into them the same
But
way. Kind of.
I think I see what you're saying though, because what happens is when he goes downstairs and finds him there, they kind of like drag him to eat him.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess so. Yeah, that's true.
I don't know. So it's one of those things where like you're most likely right, but I didn't really like get 100% confirmation on that. And at that point in the movie, I don't know if they're good or bad. But you're probably right in the sense that we want to make like brother and sister, the brother and sister are probably the ones that did it, since they're the real bad guys of this movie. And then you start to get more and more reveals. You see that there's literally more than one person in the wall. The girl that is their daughter doesn't really, she's being held captive. Even the guy is huge, but he looks really strange. There's this dog that attacks him immediately, which is
that's probably the drag for me. I feel like
the dog is like
they overuse the dog so much in this movie. The dog's name is Prince, and the mom and dad just like go kill. So like they kind of put him through every spot they can't fit in, like the walls and like the furnace, I think that was, or
he kicks open the door a little bit and the dog goes in.
Yeah.
I actually do like that scene where the dog once they lock the dog in, he does some, what is it that he does to the dog? He calls him something. He says something about a cat, and the dog tries to attack the kid, and then he hops up and jumps over him. They close the door behind him. But not that particular scene. It was like later on, a couple minutes later, when the brother and sister come, the door was locked, so he kicks the door open in the bottom, so the dog goes, and the sister's friend makes this plan to let me hide behind the couch.
Leroy.
Yeah, Leroy says, "Let me hide behind the couch, and when he comes for you, I'll come out and hit him." And the little boy's just there standing, like not doing anything, and the dog's just like, chilling. He doesn't even attack the boy. He literally just waits there patiently until Leroy goes to peek and then attacks him. And then the little boy has the fun idea, so let's hold hands and touch this door to kind of electrify the dog.
Yeah.
This dog goes through some shit in this movie, man.
Yeah, man. This dog is what was that, a Rottweiler, right?
Yeah, it was a Rottweiler.
It's a Rottweiler, and yeah, so right. So Leroy and Fool are in the house. I kind of like it. They kind of I felt like this movie. Just want to say that it's not like Scream and whatnot. I kind of felt like a Goosebumps episode. I appreciated
definitely.
it. I
can see
appreciated
that.
it. Yeah,
I would say like a Goosebump episodes from back then. This would totally fly.
Yeah, so it's like they're doing that, and like as they're figuring out the house, like they put us in their POV, like as they're figuring out the house, so are we figuring out how big this house is, all these hidden compartments, what's in the basement, how the basement stairs turn into like a slide, like all these
There's
things.
a lot of contraptions.
Yeah, a lot, like so much.
The door's electrified. Even to get to the downstairs, it turns out that like he hide it with like a pantry.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
And then he has the shotgun hidden inside the piano. There's a lot of contraptions in this movie, which is kind of.
You don't like it?
No, I mean it's cool. It's just like there was a lot of stuff that I was just not expecting.
Yeah. Same.
It's like everything is like there's literally like a house within a house. If you take into account like all the ways you can get in and out, this is like that house must be huge. Remember, she in her room or not in her room, in like the bathroom, there's like a closet that has like a little passageway.
Yeah.
Then there's a vent, and then there's like a lot in this house.
There's a lot, yeah.
There's all these switches that they control everything from.
Yeah. So, Leroy and Fool are, dealing with the dog. They just electrocuted him, and then then the mom and dad, the brother. I don't know what are we gonna call them because I don't want to get confused every time. Let's just call them.
I mean, I don't think they don't. Yeah, they don't really have a name. They just go by.
They call each other mommy and daddy. Actually, let's call them mommy and daddy. They're brother and sister.
Let's call them brother and sister.
Brother and sister. All right, fine. So brother and sister finally get the door open, and the brother gets his gun.
Yep.
So Leroy and Fool go upstairs to hide, and this is where I don't want to say it surprised me, but it's also mad fucked up. I thought it was mad fucked up how Leroy's like, "Yo, get your." Yeah, he's like, every man for themselves. He goes, he hid in the closet. He goes, the fool was trying to go inside. Like inside, he goes, nah, bro. He goes, go somewhere else. I'm thinking he's gonna figure it out for him.
Yeah, no, that's the thing is, I like that idea of like, the kid always relying on the adult, right? But as I'm watching this, I'm like, this is like the rule of 90s/80s movies where there's like, once you do something like this, you're gonna die. That's it. The moment he locked the door and he says, no. There's no space, and he locks him out. I was like, "You're dead." I literally said, "You're dead."
Yeah.
Like
you're done.
Had he helped the kid, had he helped the kid, maybe he could have lived a little longer. But the moment he did that, I'm like, "Okay, you're gonna die now because you're an asshole." It's like that's just the rule of these type of movies. So he hides in the closet. Then lo and behold, something grabs him. Is it Roach that grabs him?
It's Roach. It's Roach that grabs him. There's a guy in the so. To give you more context, this brother and sister, they kidnap babies at very young ages and try to make it their own, and raise them as their own. That's why they call each other mommy and daddy.
Which is interesting now if you've seen Don't Breathe, because that's the same thing with the blind man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I definitely, I see a lot of blueprints from that, but as soon as they see no evil as soon as they see evil and speak evil, they decide to cut a part of them, like Roach. Yeah. They cut his tongue, and then they lock him under the stairs.
Right.
That's what they do.
So all the kids that basically messed up or were evil, quote unquote, they locked them in the what is it, the cellar, the basement?
Yeah.
They locked them in the basement, and Roach was one of those, but he was able to escape, and the brother hates him because of that, because he lives in the walls. and their new daughter, quote unquote, is has been feeding Roach, and she's
Yeah.
kind of friends with Roach.
I just want to say, now that you mention it, Don't Breathe is really the same thing. They go inside, try to steal his money, and then
Yep.
they find out there's something else in the basement that he's
Yep.
fucking with.
Yep.
Yo, that's
Yep.
insane.
It's the same movie. It's the same movie. And if you think about it, what he was trying to do was he wanted to get a kid. In the second movie, he has that kid already.
Literally, wow.
Yeah, it's the same. So obviously, this movie came in first. So I mean, I'm sure there was influences from this particular movie. We might be late to the party for those who are watching this and already knew this. Sorry, we had not seen this movie. But yeah. But then Roach is, he grabs Leroy. Leroy runs out and immediately starts getting lit up by the brother.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, yeah, I called it. You lived like a total of 1 minute after you were evil.
Yeah. Yeah. And then he drags his body to the cellar and like guts him, hangs him upside down, guts him like
Yeah. You find that out later.
an animal. Yeah.
So I mean, what exactly happens after that? I think they end up capturing the boy, but is it?
No, they don't
before
capture the
or
boy
after?
yet. Alice actually, like
Saves
he
the
sees
boy.
the doll go into like the vent, and it's Alice because she like sews the dolls, for each kid that is stolen. But unbeknownst to her, she doesn't know that these
So
guys.
it's not for every kid. It's for every person who saw something that they killed.
Yeah.
Because there's like a postman or something in that. There's like
True.
it's not
Right. You're right. For
necessarily
the
just-
souls. For the
Yeah.
souls, she had mentioned.
It's pretty much anybody who saw anything, which is why she ends up making a doll for Leroy.
Right.
Because he was killed. And
So then he follows her. He meets with her, and she's like in the bathroom, and he's like, "Yo, what's going on?" Blah blah. So like she kind of tells him that's Roach in the walls, and here's.
I
Like,
love Roach. His laugh.
Yeah,
He's a little
Roach.
creepy.
Roach is played by Sean Wallen. He's been in a
Sean,
lot of films. My
think it's
personal
Whalen.
favorite, I think, was Employee of the Month. I don't know if you guys ever seen that film. I think he's hilarious. He's like the assistant manager.
Yes. That's
Hysterical.
the one with Dane Cook, correct?
Yeah, that's with Jessica Simpson, and then so that's mad funny. But yeah. So then the brother finds him and tries to get him, but he hides too. Like, what, he hides in the vent with Roach. I think Roach kind of shows him the way because he puts the dog in the wall with them because Roach tells Fool to come with him. So they're in the walls, and he gets the dog again to chase him.
Roach
in the wall.
has a very small part of this movie, right? Because I feel like
Very small. I mean, he's there enough. But
during that scene where he's meeting the girl, or where he's with Alice, in the bathroom, Roach is in the walls, and the brother's shooting the walls, going crazy, looking,
yeah, because he's been trying to kill him or capture him.
capture him or kill him this
Yeah.
entire time.
But like he makes these like weird sounds, like screaming sounds, like shit like
Yeah,
that. So
and you find out it's because he got his tongue cut out. He can't talk.
He can't talk.
He then what you're saying happens. He meets up with Roach, but I feel like in that process, doesn't he get shot already or no? When is
So
it that
no,
Roach
he
gets
doesn't get shot. No, so he doesn't get shot. So he's doing that. He gets Fool to follow him into the walls, and then they end up in Alice's room, right? And then the dad comes in. They all escape again in that little ventish thing. And no, Roach escapes in the ventish thing, and that's where he shoots him.
Got you.
That's where he shoots him. The brother gets one shot at Roach near like the stomach area, I think.
Yeah, but we don't really find out till later.
Till
when
later.
when they officially capture the kid, that's when you see that Leroy was being skinned and fed to the people.
Yes.
People under the stairs.
Yep.
Which they also say the title of this movie like 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
And then
There's always that
Roach,
moment.
Yeah. Roach comes and saves the kid. But how is it that he opens the door? Or basically he just comes down and he grabs the keys because the keys are downstairs. Yeah, he does.
He does,
literally
right? No, I thought he came out of the furnace thing. No?
No, they go
Because
into the furnace.
he tosses Fool to the people, and
Yeah,
they
he
don't
tosses-
kill him.
They don't kill him. Well, he's like telling them get away. They're like trying to come at him.
Yeah.
And then I think he picks up Leroy's body and kind of scares them or something.
Yeah, he does. Yeah,
And
you're right.
then they move away, and I don't know where he comes out from. I don't know if it's the furnace, but he grabs the keys that were downstairs and he opens the gate and just lets the kid out.
Right.
Fool.
Right. This is true.
And then they go back into the furnaces, which is when you find out that Roach has been shot, and he basically says, Alice is upstairs. Basically, help her.
Yeah.
With the few
Well, yeah.
breaths that he has.
Well, yeah. He gives him. Well, first he gives him coins.
Yes.
He gives him a couple of coins, what he's been looking for, and then because he can't speak, he writes Alice, and he says upstairs, like help her, and then he dies. Yeah. So
I feel like he had like 20, 30 minutes in this movie.
Yeah, he did. He had a good amount. He had a good amount in this movie, and then
not to mention this movie's long. So
yeah, what was it like 145, 150, around that? Yeah. But
take a look. But I think it was like close to 2 hours.
Yeah, 145.
Okay.
And
it felt a little close to 2 hours, but
it did.
And then so from that point on, how is it that they find out that Fool escaped?
Because he goes into the attic and he tries to get Alice to jump into this little like.
But I think something happens before that. No.
Like what?
I think he grabs Alice and they find out. They start chasing them and then they go into the attic. No.
You may be wrong. You may be right.
I could be wrong, but then he that's how he finally escapes. He tries to get Alice to jump, but she doesn't. He jumps and he's able to avoid the shots and get away.
Yeah, he does say "I'll be back" or something, right?
Yeah. So he says "I'll be back," and this is where I feel like the movie drags for a little bit because it then it cuts to him already with his sister. He hears the story about the brother and sister from is it his uncle or
his grandpa?
His grandpa. Okay. So his grandfather tells him about the story of their brother and sister. They used to run used to sell caskets or something.
They used to work at a funeral home, sell cheaper caskets for more, and then they got into real estate, became greedy, and then it just became weird. They started stealing kids and whatnot. It kind of explains to him the whole gist. They're not their brother and sister, not mom and dad. And then Fool feels like for Alice, he's got his money. And his grandpa tells him like this is gonna last you a while, blah blah. So
this is gonna last you 10 years basically. This is considering this movie takes place probably the same time it's released, 1991 or 1990.
Like 10 years.
Yeah, so it's gonna last you 10 years.
Yeah.
And you'll have enough to pay off everything for your mom.
Yeah.
Then he opts to go back. We cut back to the house and they're being visited by cops again?
Cops. He calls 911. So Fool goes back. He calls 911 and he reports child abuse. Cops go to the house and it's like a lot of them, and they already are like, why are we here? Like, there's such nice people. They're under the impression that there's nothing wrong here in this house, Yeah. So they go in, try to check it out. Their brother and sister are being really nice, giving them cookies and coffee, and they find nothing, Like you mentioned,
they find a bedroom,
right?
But they basically say, "Oh, our daughter died a long time ago." Basically,
yeah, sick. People.
And they're like, "I'm sorry for your loss." Basically,
sick people.
It's one of those things where cops at the time weren't the greatest.
Yeah.
And this movie shows that. And then they basically just leave and say like, "Hey, this van that's been out front was stolen or not stolen was tracked back to a break-in at the liquor store."
Yeah,
which is what we know from earlier. They basically say like, do people try to break in very often? Because there's like signs of them trying to work the house. But they're like, no, it's okay. And that's pretty much it. They just go on their way. But in this process, oh no, so we are missing a scene, no? Because isn't there a part where she finds out there was a kid? That was like early on.
Okay.
Correct? So I'm confusing something. So just real quick, let's recap.
Okay.
I might be mixing two scenes. Isn't there a scene earlier in the movie? Because remember, when they kill Leroy, they don't know that there's a kid. And then they don't know that Fool's in the house. It was until they check the van that they see something with.
Oh, yeah. So you're right. So what happens is, they didn't know Leroy. No, so they knew Leroy was in the house. They knew Spencer was in the house. They didn't know that Fool was in the house. But Fool, like we mentioned earlier, he dressed in like a Boy Scout trying to sell cookies. He's trying to figure out. He was trying to go in at the time, but she was like, no. But then he goes back into the van, changes clothes, and I like the emphasis on on him changing clothes. I think that's smart by Wes Craven. and then the cops come and they see the van, right?
Yeah,
Because
I don't know.
nobody called the cops.
I don't know if maybe they just see the van first and the cops see it later. I'm kind of confused about this particular part. But basically, the brother and sister end up finding the suit, and that's how they know that Fool was in initially. But it's okay. Let's fast forward to the cops come and they leave, and that's what Fool uses as a way to get back into the house.
Right, right. So,
and now he's already savvy, so he already knows how to navigate his way through his house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and like I said, he just calls the police, and they come to the house. It's like a lot more this time, and they left the back door opened. So when the cops leave, the mom even says, the sister even says that she says we left the back door open for quite some time. Did you check it? And like brother's like, yeah, it's fine. They go upstairs. We pan into the kitchen. Fool's been hiding in the kitchen cabinets. Then he comes out, which I thought was cool. And then shit happens again. This is, I guess we don't call this Act 3. We can call this Act 3.
This is Act 3, and this is where I'm like, I thought this part was like, we're already like an hour and a half into the movie, and this is still happening.
Yeah.
But it cuts. I think some of the same things happen. They sent the. He goes upstairs and he helps her out.
No, he goes upstairs. He goes upstairs. He grabs one of those things for the fireplace. And he hears brother and sister talking, like their prayers before they go to sleep. He goes into the room and he sees that's just a taping, and then
they go to grab him.
By the way, why was every time their brother was shooting people and trying to kill him, he was dressed up like an all black suit? Like, kind of reminds me of American Horror Story. It's like a leather suit.
Supposed to be some weird kinky shit. I don't know.
Fucking sick. And they try to chase him, and he escapes. They think he left through the back door. He didn't. Ends up he actually went up the chimney to the attic where Alice is tied up there.
Correct. So and then he helps her.
He helps her escape. She gets out.
Brother comes to check in, and she pretends like she's still hanging there. He doesn't go to check. But this is where something weird happens to me. Like, I feel like he tried to reach for his groin area for a second.
Bro, and he even made a noise, like a seductive ass sound.
Yeah.
He was like,
he did.
He was like, oh. I'm like, you sick?
Yeah. And then he, like, the whole thing is like he's accusing her of like being with him. She's like, I know he did it with him.
Yeah, he even calls her a whore. He even says she's a little whore, and whatever. So then, so Fool tells Alice, "Yo, we gotta jump again." She's like, "No, you can't, because he drained the water from the last time you jumped." He's like, "Oh, fine, so let's go down the."
He put glass on the bottom.
Yeah. So he's like, "Let's go down the fireplace." So this is where it's kind of cool too. So they're in their room. They're looking up their fireplace. I didn't know that. Do houses do that? Do they connect fireplaces?
Yeah, they do.
Really?
Like in multiple floors, yes.
Yeah, that's insane.
So you have the second floor, which is, what was it, their bedroom, and then the living room in the bottom.
Yeah.
And then he makes some noise or something, so they go to check. The brother goes, shoots his shotgun up, and like while he stops, he takes that moment to throw a brick and hit the brother, and this was like very very Home Alone.
Yeah, very very Home Alone. And the mom, the sister goes in the fireplace too, and they kind of like fall on her and take the gun away from her.
He puts his fingers in her nose.
Yeah, and
dirties her up.
And then what happens? He tells Alice to escape through the back door in the kitchen, and he goes downstairs. He wants to get the shotgun and kind of.
He basically says, "I'm not done."
Yeah.
He wants to go downstairs. At this point, I'm like, he wants to like let everybody, all the people under the stairs go.
Yeah.
So like by this part of the movie, you realize that the people under the stairs are like they're not bad at all, really. Outside of the fact that they're cannibals, they've been forced to be cannibals because they've been living there. Then the sister catches Alice, and the brother goes downstairs to catch Fool.
And then this is where it kind of happens quick. Then I think I feel
like the final act, like the final 10 minutes of this movie happens. Somebody knocks on the door.
It turns out it's Fool's sister. This is taking place while Alice is hiding in the kitchen. They couldn't find her. Fool was downstairs. The brother found him and kind of tossed him, was shooting at him, trying
You
to
also
toss.
missed a part here because the dog gets killed somewhere along the line. He accidentally stabs the brother, the dog through the wall.
This is the first time, though, not the second time he comes back. This is the first time he comes back, right?
He only comes back once.
I mean, this is the first time he's in the house. I mean,
Hey,
it is.
again,
No, it is. It is the first time he's in the house. This is when Alice and him are trying to go to the attic first, and
In that
the
process.
man is like stabbing the wall. He ends up stabbing the dog and killing him. I was like, thank God for that. Sorry, I love dogs, but it was too much with the dog.
One of the few times you actually want the dog to die.
Yeah.
In a movie.
Yeah, and
But fast forward back to where we are currently. The sister comes. She closes the door on her. Then the grandfather pretends to be a cop. She opens the door again, and he's like, let us speak or finish our talk or whatever. And it's like revealed that she pulls out a gun on them, but like the entire neighborhood is outside.
lovely.
And she's about to say the N word, hard R, and they're all just there like, what are you gonna do?
Shoot us all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at this point you already know that the movie's ending soon, but what is it that happens? She goes in, and then the sister goes in, and she ends up going back outside.
And then
There are some cuts back and forth to
back and forth. Apparently, Alice reveals herself, and she's like, you were never my mom and stuff like that. Because in the attic, Fool tells her like, yo, this is not your real parents. These are your brother and sister. And so they have a little fight while Fool's sister's locked outside. She grabs a knife. They're chasing each other. As they're chasing each other, Alice falls down. You're not gonna lie, the mom with like the knife, I like that shot. It was like a cool slasher.
Yeah,
like yo.
The only thing is she did it a few times.
Yeah,
she did it up until like she got killed.
Yeah.
I didn't know what she was gonna do when she was surrounded by the people.
Yeah.
So in the process, downstairs, the people got loose. The sister comes inside and then goes back outside. Alice closes the door on her. Alice and the sister are fighting. The people downstairs end up saving the day. Really surround the sister.
They start coming out of the walls, which is kind of
cool.
And at the same time, Fool was shown by the people under the stairs where they keep their money. So he goes in there, sees all these coins, and he also sees a lot of explosives.
I like the trick that he does with the candle. So he fools the brother by placing coins like on the candles, like within the candle itself. So as it's melting, the candles start falling off, and it looks like somebody's dropping these coins. So the brother comes in, and he's like, I know what you're doing. You're counting this money. I'm gonna do that again soon. And when he goes to look, it's just a candle.
Yeah.
And then basically, Fool has him set. He's holding this explosive cabling together and saying, "Hey, you can shoot me, or we're both gonna die." He ends up still trying to take the shot. Fool puts those cables together. There's an explosion, but he doesn't die. He just. Well, does he die?
The father? The brother?
The brother. Yeah,
he dies.
He falls
He
into
dies.
the liquid. Yeah.
He jumps through
into
this
the water.
room. I mean, there's no blood on him, but like he falls through and then he falls in the water.
So he explodes. So he falls into the water where Leroy was.
Yeah.
And that's the end for the brother. And then upstairs, remember the sister got called by all the guys. This is where I was like, I didn't know what she was gonna do when she got surrounded, because she kind of first gets surrounded and she still grabs the knife and goes after them. I thought she was gonna try to say like, no, I'm your mother or something, and try to play it off.
Right.
But she does that to Alice, and then Alice is like, you're not my mother.
Yeah.
I thought she was gonna do it to the people and like try to like
they
gain some sympathy. She still tries to pull a knife on her.
Yeah, she dies before the brother dies. By the way, she's upstairs. People come
because
outside.
they throw her downstairs.
They throw her downstairs, and she dies.
The brother gets to see that.
And that's pretty much the movie.
Yeah.
Doesn't really. I don't know if he got that money. I don't know whatever happens, but that's pretty much. Oh no! Like the money, the explosion causes like the money to go outside, and everybody's like collecting it.
Yeah.
And what I thought was hilarious was that that person under the stair that showed Fool where the money is. He just like walks outside and embraces it, and then he walks away. Like, where are you going? Like, where are you going? You got no house.
He's just gonna. He looks. All these people on the stairs don't look like regular people. They're like
they look like
pale
zombies,
white.
man. Yeah,
they look like zombies. Yeah. So he's just gonna live his life now.
I
Not to
thought that
mention
was
he's been eating people
hysterical.
for so long.
Um,
Yeah, there's a lot of things like that where you don't know, like, how does this movie really end? It's weird. It's a very strange movie. You can it falls in perfectly with the movies of this time. So like it's that sort of '90s movie.
Yo, man, I'm talking about Don't Breathe, man. Don't Breathe really stole. The only thing that Don't Breathe has is that this guy can't see. I think they had to add some twist, otherwise it would be an exact replica of this movie. Wow. I'm
You know what this movie
blown.
reminds me of?
What?
Another movie that you really like.
Which one?
I feel like it's kind of sort of those weird vibes. Oh, sorry, not that you really like that. You don't really like. What's that James Wan movie from last year?
James Bond?
James Wan movie from last year.
Malignant?
Malignant. Not because it reminds me of Malignant, but it's one of those strange movies that, like, Malignant should have been made in the '90s, and that's the whole point of the movie, is where he's trying to like give you that sort of a feel for it. But like when you take a modern take on that, the reason we didn't like Malignant is because we just feel like it doesn't work. But like if you take that movie and put it in the '90s, it's something that you would have done in the '90s. You know what I mean? Like there's a whole bunch of plot holes like in this particular movie that makes sense. It's a '90s movie. It's kind of hard for me to even rate this sort of movie because of that. It's a very strange movie. It does touch on a lot of subjects, gentrification, racism, which again, I mean, shows you that there's been movies about politics or the society based on time. So this is like what time was in 1990.
Yes.
A la Candyman.
Yes.
And then now the new Candyman.
They're gonna have to horror movies in general are going to have to recycle a lot. That's what they're going to do. That's what you have with, like you just mentioned, Candyman. From this movie, I think like they can take it. Don't Breathe, like from this movie, same ideas. Requels, we saw Scream 5. They talk about requels a lot. There's a lot of horror, retro.
So I like what you're saying about taking ideas. I don't know if you necessarily have to remake a movie. Like if you remake this, you'd have to change certain things, because I think what's happened is movies from the 90s weren't taken as serious as they are today. So movies from the 90s were like, this is a movie. It's meant to be kind of, different and not realistic. Versus like if you try to do this today, people are going to pick it apart and say there's a whole bunch of plot holes.
Right.
How does this man just walk outside after, doing all of this? And like, that's like the thing with pretty much every movie from this time. And if you try to like, I mean, from the 90s, 80s. Now, if you try to do it by today's standards, you have to throw another layer on it and say like, okay, it has to be realistic. We don't want people saying this and that and this and that about like, they'll pick apart this movie if it was released today.
Right. That's the sad truth, but yeah, that's what it is. I feel like you got to understand in the timeline that you're in terms of horror. People had their ghost. They had their ghost phase, their slasher phase. They have their remake phase. Now it's a requel phase. So it depends on where you're putting it, I guess. Otherwise, the movie really has to stand out as its own to be something phenomenal.
But the best example is, I thought Malignant was like okay, but you hated Malignant.
It was horrible.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
It was horrible.
Okay. But
people loved it. And
that's the best. Yeah, but that's the best example that I can use. The movie didn't work for you.
No.
But I think the reason it didn't work is because it was just a cheesy premise that like it's hard to stand behind that in the year 2021.
Yeah, that is definitely one reason. I also didn't like the fact that there's a lot of things that really just didn't make sense, and it was a hard movie.
But that's what I'm saying. A lot of things in this movie don't make sense. But if what James Wan was trying to do was like kind of replicate this sort of era, but it just doesn't work. Like you really have to take into account what it is, right? You have to. For me to say that, I would have to watch *Malignant* with the idea of like, okay, this movie's not gonna make any sense. Like,
yeah, man.
I'm like removing that from my head. Like I have to add that layer where like for me to like *Malignant*, I have to be aware like this is supposed to be like this. Otherwise, I would say this about you in the sense of like Halloween Kills.
I was just thinking that though. That's the thing. Like
if you're judging it by a movie alone, I don't like it. But you judge it based on like a sequel and everything else.
Yeah, but you have to. Well, that's different. I feel like that is different. I think you're spot on with *Malignant*. Like this is the time. Here's why we don't like it. Blah blah. for Halloween Kills, it was a sequel. It's part of a franchise, you know. I don't know, but that again, we can have another conversation about that afterwards. But you're right in the most part in terms of you have to know the current status of horror, you know, to make these kind of movies.
Honestly, one of the things that really pissed me off about *Malignant* is that the trailers did not depict any of it. I don't know if he did it on purpose, but the trailers of that movie pitched a different movie entirely.
For anyone who's watched *Malignant* and you still like it, and I don't think you should watch horror movies ever again in your life. That movie was just bad. And I like James Wan, man. I love him.
To each their own, man. They're just, you know, they're looking for that sort of like B tier.
Nah, man. This ain't it, man. This ain't it. Until you find me a case in the world where you have a face in the back of your head. I mean, that actually did happen once, apparently, but whatever. You know what I mean? It's insane.
Again, you have to have a sense of disbelief while you're watching this movie and say, like, you know, this is a movie. It's kind of like the same idea when you go watch Fast and the Furious. You're not watching this for the realism. You're watching it for the
there's a difference.
Extraordinary events.
Nah, you see, you're right, but like when you have suspense of disbelief, you have things that make sense with that disbelief. Does that make sense? Like, you know, like Fast and Furious, we know they're fast. We know they're gonna jump off the cliff and survive somehow. But like, it works. Like they've done that with their gadgets and stuff. Like they somehow
articulate it somehow. Sort of
Sense. Yeah. Malignant was just
it make sense.
Here
somehow.
It is. Here that is. Here that is. I'm like, what? Like what? The mother coming out of nowhere. Like, what the fuck? Like what's going on? Like, it makes no sense. The only thing I gave Malignant that I'm like, I see how this makes sense is that she was like walking like backward, you know, like her body. That other than that, whatever. Enough about that though. What do you give this rating? Ready?
I don't know, man. It's hard for me to judge.
Ready?
Like, after the same go.
I give it a 6.
I was gonna say a 5.
Nah, I give it a 6. And if I want to be nice, because it's Wes Craven, I'll be like, yo, don't make that a 7. But it's a 6.
I think it's
a 6.
I think it's one of the weaker Wes Craven films.
Yeah, you know, it's definitely overlooked, you know, compared to his other movies. You know, he's a genius, like I said.
My favorite character was Roach. I liked
what? No, I like.
He's so creepy. You give me like Hills of Eyes vibes.
No, yeah, he was definitely creepy, but I did like what's his face? I did like the kid, you know, Fool. Brandon Adams. Fool. I like Fool. I think he was a little cheesy, you know, when he's going on like the table and spinning around. Like there's no need for that. You could have just walked around the table. It would have been fine. But with the lighter, like what is that gonna do for you, my man?
That lighter lights up a whole room.
Yeah, man.
See how bright that lighter is? That lighter is. I want that lighter.
Technology, we don't even have.
The light is off. You turn on that lighter, the whole room is on now.
Yeah, but
like a video game lighter.
It definitely is overlooked, and we see why. Like I said, like it reminds you of Goosebumps. It is a horror / comedy / thriller. Would I watch it again? Probably if it's on TV, I'll be like, oh, look at this. I know this.
I mean, I'll leave it. I'll play it in the background.
Yeah, like I know this movie.
Yeah.
But other than that, I probably wouldn't watch it again. It's fun. It was cool. It has some, you know, political points out there, but it's a 6 for me.
Yeah, what was I going to say about this movie? I do like that, you know, the whole thing early on with the kid was like he didn't have the courage, but like he definitely ended up getting the courage by the end of this. He leaves the house and ends up coming back just to save her. So
yeah.
I did like that.
So did Alice. So did Alice.
I like,
you know, she got her courage also because she wasn't. Really...
I like the creepiness in the beginning with like the obscurity of the people in the wall. Yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm gonna call this 5 out of 10 for me.
5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 for me. Wes Craven, rest in peace.
I like Wes Craven, but this is one of the weaker films for me. Now,
moving on.
Yes, sir.
Speaking of Wes Craven, can I just mention one thing?
Go ahead.
For all you Scream fans, Scream 6, well, I mean, that is not the title of it yet. However, the next Scream movie is going to be filmed in Montreal from June 6th to August 10th. I completely just butchered that. Again, from June 6th to August 10th. They will be filming it in Montreal.
You're announcing this like it's Comic-Con and you want people to attend.
Yo, listen. A lot of people like to take pictures and ruin things and spoilers, so hopefully they don't do that.
Somebody pull up and spoil the movie for us, please.
Like again, it's gonna be the same directors.
Please let me know if Sydney dies. Thank you. Yes, so they're gonna start filming Scream again.
Yo, I pray.
I wouldn't know.
I pray. I think she's interested in this movie. Also, I pray she's in it and she survives again because that's my girl. That's Sydney Prescott.
I hope Nev Campbell is like, I'll only come back if you kill me.
Yo,
I feel like that's what Jamie Lee Curtis said for Halloween Resurrection. If I'm not mistaken, she was like, I'll come back.
Guys, people that are listening, please help us be big so we can get Nev Campbell on this podcast and then confront Tom Cruise. What? That would be insane.
I love Nev Campbell, but like, come on, 6 movies now? Even Jamie didn't get 6 movies. How many movies did Jamie get? She got
one, two, H2O, Resurrection.
Now she's getting
2018.
Now she got 6.
Kills and Ends. She's gonna have 7.
She's gonna have 7. But look how long. Like, she didn't get 6 movies in a row. They did how many movies without her in between? At this rate, Sydney's gonna be in 20 movies.
Listen, if it works, it works.
What was I gonna say? So, yeah, they're filming this movie soon. Scream 6. What are they gonna call it? Are they gonna call it Screams? Or what was the other one? What was the other name?
That's whack. That's whack if they call it Screams. Not whack, but like I don't.
This is like aliens.
Yeah, I don't know what they call it.
Screams, and you put the 6 as an S as a 6. I don't know. And then you'll have like 10 killers. I don't know. What was one of the other titles? What was one of the other league titles? Like not league titles, but like fan made titles.
Yeah, I don't know.
We had tweeted something.
Scream If You Dare. I have no idea.
No, I don't remember. We gotta look that up.
Let me Google it right now as you speak. Go ahead, keep speaking.
No, I don't know what they're gonna possibly call this movie. Is it gonna be Scream 6? Considering they just went from Scream to from Scream 4 to Scream.
All right, you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, we got Scream 2023. We got Scream 6. We got Screams. We got Scream Again. We got Scream Part 2. Then we got Ghostface. Don't do Ghostface. Don't do Ghostface. Scream Kills.
I think the one that we were talking about is Scream 2. Like Scream Part 2. Scream. Yeah. I think that's the one that I was thinking about. But I do have one more other thing that I want to talk about.
Go ahead.
So, if you've seen... So if you're subscribed to Shudder, or if you've seen Shudder Cursed Films, where they basically have a series and go through all the films that have been quote unquote cursed. Just to give you an example, what's the name of this movie? Poltergeist, as an example. Poltergeist is a famous movie that's supposedly cursed. I think Exorcist is one of them. The series is actually coming back, and it's going to be 4 movies, I believe, and it's going to be Cursed Films 2. The 4 movies that have been cursed, I think they're here. It's The Wizard of Oz, Rosemary's Baby, The Serpent and the Rainbow, Stalker, and I think so there's a 5th one. It's Cannibal Holocaust. So I'm excited to see this. This basically just goes into depth as to, why these movies are quote unquote cursed.
Interesting.
It's always something interesting, when you get a little meta and you take a horror movie and then add horror to the fact that they were filming a horror movie.
Right. Just gotta put that in there somehow.
Yeah. So what was the whole thing about Poltergeist is that they used real skeletons on the set, and then the little girl ended up dying, and a whole bunch of people ended up dying from like different parts of the movies.
Think that was planned?
No, I don't know. I think if you want my honest opinion, I think everything has an explanation. I think it's just coincidence.
This is true. But no, I'm excited. Also, when you guys are listening to this, it'll be 186 days left for Halloween Ends. 186 days.
If you're excited to watch that, yeah.
You should be excited. Good or bad movies out there.
I'm excited for it to end, yeah.
You know what? Tommy and I, you know what we're going to do? We're going to make another Halloween podcast. We'll make it a special episode. We'll throw it on there. Release it 2 for 1. We don't know when we'll do that, but as we get closer, maybe we'll do a trailer reaction and go.
When do we get a trailer? So can we?
We're probably going to get it at the same time, end of June, probably.
That's when we got it last time?
Yeah, end of June.
But I will debate and say, so that's when we got the first trailer. So we might get a teaser before then, because we got 2 teasers before that, correct?
Yeah, but that was like a 10-second teaser, or 10 or 15.
That's fine. I'll take 2 seconds. I'll take a poster. No, so here's the thing. I feel like Halloween Kills. We got the trailer so late because it was delayed so many times. but at the same time, we might have also gotten the trailer early because of that. Because didn't we get we got an early teaser because it was delayed?
Mad early teaser, and then it told us it was going to be pushed.
Yeah. They did that because it was gonna get pushed. So
Right.
I wouldn't be surprised if we get the trailer earlier, only because it's not getting pushed. Like it's gonna come out in theaters. There's no denying it now. They're not gonna do any streaming exclusives this time around.
Right. You know what I'm going to do? I am going to. Well, you and I, obviously, we're going to. I want to do a trailer reaction, which I think we should do. We probably will do. And that's it. I don't want to look at anything else. I don't want to look at critics to see it before.
You don't want to watch the teasers before the trailer, at least? Before trailer?
No, anything that they release, I want to watch. And I want to decipher it on my own. Any leaks, any spoilers, anything else, I don't want to see it anywhere. Because I really feel like that's what makes up people's minds before they watch the movie. I really do. And that bothers me. Because you go into a movie expecting something to happen, and then it doesn't. Like, you know, and it's like, blah, blah.
I don't know, man. A lot of people knew the ending for a lot of movies and still really liked them. And I can give you an example of like 3 Marvel movies where everybody kind of knew. You knew Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire were going to be in Spider-Man.
That's different. That's different. You could, because, come on. The story that they're displaying out here is like, you know it's going to happen. You can bet your whole life on that they're going to be in there. But that's different. Okay. Whatever. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
I get what you're saying. I just hope that it has some like my issue with Kills was more so like that it didn't have a protagonist that kept on jumping from characters. Like the protagonist was really like the town of Haddonfield. I hope this time around, you know, they keep it to the girls and at least it's a little bit more organized because of that. And you know, just keep politics and you know the
COVID
asylum and all of that out of the movie. Please.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So right off the bat, okay, because I don't want to get into it fully, but like I can tell you right now that you are going to like this movie already more because it is going to be a lot calmer. It is going to be a lot about Laurie. It's going to be a lot about
But it's not that it has to be calm. I wouldn't call the.
But you're
calm.
aiming more towards a story. That's what you want. You want a concrete story that follows a closure for you, right at the end. That's what you want, and which is fine. I want that too. It's not like I don't want that, but Halloween Kills, I knew I wasn't going to get that. I knew that because it was the second movie of a trilogy. I knew what this movie was going to be. So when you say stuff like, "Oh, there's no story," and blah blah, I know that. Like, you didn't know that.
Well, so here's the problem, right? This is going back to what you're saying. Well, the conversation I had earlier, where you have to watch the movie with a certain lens. If you have to watch a movie with a certain lens, then the movie already fails because I feel like you shouldn't have to put that lens on.
No, that's not the
but
same thing.
To your point, this Scream 2 was part of a trilogy. Empire Strikes Back was part of a trilogy. The Godfather Part 2 was part of a trilogy.
Yes, but we didn't know but we didn't know that it was going to be a trilogy. So Halloween Kills we knew because Halloween Kills was probably the first movie that said, "Yo, we're dropping a movie right after this." Name me a movie. Did Scream 2 do that? No. Did Godfather do that? No.
No.
Exactly. So that we thought it was going to be the end. So it's like, oh, we know, blah, blah. And they made some story to it. Fine. Halloween Kills, like, it's like, yo, Halloween Kills and then Halloween Ends. And then, first of all, it's called Halloween Kills. I'm like, yo, I know this is a sequel. I know there's going to be a lot of deaths.
Yeah, but I feel like that doesn't... So, like, you're using the fact that it's a middle movie to justify why it didn't have a story. And that's where
But it did have a story. It did have a story.
A really bad one.
I don't know. I really, again, I'm not being biased. I really enjoyed this movie. I loved Michael Myers in this movie. I loved how they portrayed Haddonfield. I
still haven't been able to completely watch it again.
I loved. Okay, Talia was annoying. I'll give you that. Tommy was freaking annoying. Oh, and by the way, in the uncut version, they kind of show more of like the bat splatter. Like, why do they just? I wanted to see him die. I think like that's what I take away from this movie. I didn't
even like that cut. That whole cut was terrible.
Yeah, I wanted to see Tommy die. I don't know. I don't know what else to say. We'll go back into it. But for now, let's leave it at that.
We'll do another Halloween Kills episode.
Yeah, I'm so down, man. I am so down.
We'll bring a guest for that one so that I don't have to butcher the movie.
Yeah, let's bring two, man. Let's go crazy. Let's go crazy.
Let's bring one that really likes it and one that really hates it. How about that?
I'm down for it. I am so down for it.
I don't know where you're gonna find somebody who likes the movie, but
bro, my wife loves it. My brother loves it. My cousin loves it. Anyone who saw it loves it. Like, I don't know. I really don't know how you don't like this movie. It's insane to me.
I don't know. I haven't been able to even watch it again.
I feel like that's your pride talking, though. Like, you don't want to watch it because now you said you didn't like it, and now if you watch it, you feel like you're like, oh, damn, I'm kind of giving in.
I tried. I tried, man. I own every single Halloween movie. I can watch Resurrection.
And then you said, H2O is better. I cannot believe you said that,
bro. I just finished telling you I can watch Resurrection right now on my TV, but it will hurt me to put on Halloween Kills.
Guys, I am going to clip. You see me, right? I am going to clip this right now. Tom Cruise says Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection is better than Halloween Kills.
No, so wait.
No, you said that.
Clip this properly.
Okay,
I do think Halloween H2O is a better movie. I do. Halloween Resurrection, I said I can rewatch Resurrection because at least it follows a story. I can't rewatch Kills. I saw it once in theaters. I tried to watch it again a couple times. I've skimmed it, but I can't rewatch it. It's just too many cringy moments. So, the town yelling and then the whole fake killer or fake when they're chasing down the guy from the asylum. It's just too cringy for me. I just can't watch it. That's just me.
Is Tom right? Am I right? Are we both losing it? Let us know.
I think you're losing it, but we'll find out on the next episode.
That concludes.
Well, that's a horrific podcast.
That concludes this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for listening and being a part here with us. So, follow us again on Instagram at Well That's Horrific. Follow us on Twitter at That's Horrific, and follow us on TikTok at That's Horrific, or no, at Well That's Horrific. We post now more clips from our episodes there, which is probably easier for you guys anyway. Please follow, because if you don't,
well, that's horrific.
Peace.
Peace.